Here's a little story to help us think about how we treat each other. It's called Late Lunch. Mel realized his free hand was clenched and slipped it into his pocket. The nearest bus stop was 2 blocks from the restaurant, and his good shoes pinched as he shuffled along the brick sidewalk. His suit, normally worn at weddings and funerals, hung loosely on his frame, and his exhaled grunt harmonized with the click of his cane. A departing young couple held the door for him. Mel slipped into the air-conditioned lobby and halted. He could feel goosebumps rise on the back of his neck. "The service entrance is at the back of the building, sir." The hostess's dark blue dress emphasized her ivory skin tone. She'd glanced at Mel before returning her attention to the schedule on her tablet. He stepped up to her podium. "I beg your pardon, miss?" "Deliveries do not pass through the dining area. Please use the rear entrance." Her face was flawlessly symmetrical, with perfectly shaped brows accentuating pale blue eyes. She spoke in a clipped, authoritative manner. Pastor Walsh often needed to remind Mel, patience is not the ability to resist reacting, but choosing to react with kindness. "Actually, I'm here for lunch. I'm meeting my daughter." Mel paused, but no apology was offered. "She made a reservation for noon." "The name?" "Her name is Toysha Kennedy. Dr. Toysha Kennedy." The woman's long nails were fire truck red and made the tablet challenging. "My daughter tells me this is her favorite restaurant." It took Mel an hour to get across town on the bus. "I've never been here before myself." "Follow me, please." The hostess tucked 2 leather-bound menus under her arm and moved quickly despite spiked heels. With his bad hip and walking stick, navigating between tables was tough. When Mel arrived at the booth, she was tight-faced and the cords in her neck stood out. "Thank you," he said, though he didn't rightly know what for. "Casey will be your server." She placed a menu on the table in front of him and one directly across, then scooped up the extra cutlery. "It will be just the 2 of you." That sounded more like a command than a question. In any event, she did not wait for a response. Mel was the only person of color in the establishment, except for a couple of servers. There was a beautiful waitress with a caramel complexion and the telltale curls of African descent, and a waiter with a dark skin but the fine features and straight hair suggesting a gene pool originating in India. "Hello, my name's Casey, and I'll be your server today." He had the fresh, freckled face of a Saskatchewan farm boy. He presented his perfectly aligned teeth in a smile as he set the glasses upright and filled them with ice water. "Can I get you something from the bar while you're waiting for your companion?" "That'd be nice, Casey. How about a scotch? No ice." "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Our license doesn't include hard liquor. The wine list is in the back of the menu. We also have a variety of local craft beers on tap, and our sparkling cider of the day is Apple Pear Medley from Ancaster Farms." Mel asked for a beer, and the kid started rattling off a list specifying the ingredients and the brewmaster's credentials for each. "A draft lager's fine, thanks." Casey wandered off, stopping to chat to customers as he went. The combined sounds of music, chatter, and dishes colliding merged into something like ocean waves. A table-to-table scan revealed diners ignoring their food in favor of cell phone screens. His daughter was prone to that. "Here's your against-the-grain lager." Casey put down a coaster and a condensation-covered glass. "We're still waiting for your companion, are we?" "My daughter's a doctor. Sometimes it's hard for her to get away." Mel had to turn his watch around on his bony wrist to check the time. "She's only 15 minutes late." Should we pop off a text to her and check her ETA? Mel wasn't sure if Casey was offering to contact Toysha. She'll call if she's going to be real late. He put his flip phone on the table so Casey could see that he had the means to communicate. I don't want to disturb her if she's driving. Mel's phone was not capable of sending texts. Rightio, you enjoy that beer and I'll keep an eye out for her. How about some bread while I'm waiting? Sure thing, coming right up. Casey headed to the kitchen with a sense of purpose. Absent-mindedly, Mel started playing with his shirt's frayed collar. The plaid cotton had been washed hundreds of times, resulting in a level of softness that felt like skin on skin. Maggie bought the shirt for him when he retired from the factory. She told him never to wear a uniform with his name sewed on it again. When he put on the suit, which he last wore at Maggie's funeral last winter, he found used tissues in the pocket. Mel assessed his fellow patrons' casual attire and noticed some wearing baseball caps. Maggie would never tolerate a hat indoors. This is our in-house whole grain crusty artisanal bread. It's served with whipped maple butter. Enjoy. Casey sat down at the basket and spun, then left. Mel folded back the linen napkin and took a warm slice of bread. The crust had a satisfying crunch and the interior texture was soft. The saturation of maple sweetness contrasted the hoppy flavor of his beer. The openness of the space made Mel feel exposed. It had a high ceiling where the steel beams and ductwork had been painted white. Steel pipes supported shelving, and the floor was polished cement, not unlike the factory he'd labored in for nearly half a century. The furnishing reminded him of his aunt's kitchen in the 1950s. Arborite tables and mismatched chairs, some of them seafoam green vinyl, just like the stuff she had been so proud of. As he watched staff preparing their popular foamed coffee, he wondered how they felt about the open design. Their service was presented as a theatrical event, each movement, including a scratch of the nose, performed for a paying audience. How are we doing here? Katie materialized at Mel's table. Ooh, I see you enjoyed the bread. Any word on your companion? Not yet. It's just that it's been 30 minutes and we're fully booked today. Shall we give her a call? Not just yet. All righty. Can I get you another beer? Please. This time Casey headed to the reception podium rather than the bar. Mel could see him confer with the hostess. She looked across at Mel, gave Casey a nod, and he departed. Mel watched her consult her tablet and pick up the phone. Mel knew he was at the right restaurant because they'd had Toysha's reservation. He would not call her. She initiated this meeting, the first since her mother's funeral, and Mel was determined to remain dispassionate. Mr. Kennedy, the hostess raised one perfectly sculpted eyebrow. I've just spoken to Dr. Kennedy, and she regrets that she is unable to join you as planned. She paused for Mel's response, but he chose silence. We'd be happy to take your lunch order now, or we can settle the bill if you'd prefer. She smirked. Dr. Kennedy has given me her credit card information to cover any expenses you accrue. Tell Casey I'm ready to order. I hope you enjoyed this month's story. Once again, thanks to 123RF for the majority of the images. The restaurant scene shots were from Unsplash, thanks to Toa, Heftiba, and Rod Long. Stay well and be kind to each other.